You probably clicked on this video to learn how to improve your speaking skills. So firstly, we should talk about why it's even important to have good speaking skills or communication skills. Think about it. If you're trying to get a girlfriend, or even if you're at a date, you need to have good communication skills. If you're trying to negotiate a contract, you need good communication skills. If you're trying to win an argument, you also need them. So, first of all, you should think before you speak, and you should choose your words wisely. Were you ever in a situation where, for example, out of anger or annoyance or something like that, you said something, and immediately after those words left your mouth, you regretted them? My bro, I've been there before, and many people also have. But if you think before you speak, you can prevent that from happening very easily, actually. Just have to think about how the person will receive your words, how the tone of your words may affect your words, how your facial expressions might affect that person, how your gestures may play into your words, and much, much more. You have to take that into consideration. And after you've done that, you can be sure that, or nearly 100% sure, you aren't going to regret the words that are going to leave your mouth. So think before you speak and choose your words wisely. But another skill that you also should have is listening. If you don't know how to listen to people effectively, you're going to make influencing people, communication, and so much more far harder than it actually has to be. I've got my piece of paper here, I've got the script. So, to be a good listener, you shouldn't interrupt. Because if you interrupt, you're going to, let the person know that you're unsure. So you shouldn't interrupt someone when they're speaking, because it seems very rude and it's very annoying. Because I know a person, a friend of mine, who does that very often, and it's very annoying. And in the long run, it may create negative feelings, and it isn't very ideal if you are trying to improve your communication skills. So remember, don't interrupt someone when they are speaking. Wait till they are finished, and then you can talk. Then, you should also listen to non-verbal cues, such as the facial expression, gestures, tonality of their voice, and stuff like that. And this is the most important one. You should be 100% focused on listening. So don't plan a response. Don't predict what they're going to say next. Don't plan no, I already had that one. Don't judge. Don't jump to conclusions. Yeah. Shouldn't do all of these things. Just be 100% focused on listening. To show that you're interested and actually listened, it's important to give questions and suggestions. That shows that you've actually listened. Then you should also hold eye contact. The reason for that is, I think, very self-evident. And you can also nod your head, to encourage them to keep talking, to give them that level of security that you're not going to judge them, that what they're saying is good. So, speak concisely. Get to the point. So, of course, if you're trying to explain something more in detail, of course, you shouldn't rush to get to the point, but it's so important to keep in mind that there's an end line, and you have to get to the point at some point. So don't try to stretch it too long. And don't repeat yourself, because if you're repeating yourself, it may actually bore your audience, and it also isn't very ideal. Oh, and don't say things like or like. That shows that you're unsure and maybe even nervous. Instead, I've got this one from Andrew Tate. Can repeat the question, to give you more time to actually plan a response. And if you still have to think, either don't say anything, or, that's even better, give comments like, that's a good question. I never thought about that, That's much better than saying or yeah, much better. So, Practice. If you don't put all of these steps into practice, you can just skip this video and click somewhere else. But if you're like the real dude, if you're a real man, and if you're actually trying to learn something from this video, put these steps into practice. Not part of that is input and output. For input, you should read, to get some new words to your vocabulary, to add them to your vocabulary. For output, you should write down your thoughts, because writing down your thoughts improves your articulation and you get to play around with new words. This, in general, just improves your communication skills. Now, last but not least, copy other great speakers. And no, I'm not saying you should copy everything of them, because then you will just be a lesser, fake version of that person. And that's no. Instead, take little bits and pieces of them from, for example, Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, Hamza, etc. Take little bits of pieces of them, little bits. Then add them together, mix them together, and add your own touch to it. Then, voila, you've got your own unique, great speaking style. You can imagine like this. Imagine you want to make a dish, and you've got like different ingredients. Take bits and bits of these ingredients, mix them together, then you add your own touch to it, whatever that may be, and voila, you've got your own unique dish. That's how you can imagine that. So, that's all I've got for today. Take my English today. Well, that's all I've got for today. I hope this video has helped you out, and I will see you in my next video.